Wombmates and Roommates. Wombmates and Roommates, A.J. Richter.
Toastmasters. I'll begin with at the speech at the very beginning, when I really began. I began with my roommate, my real roommate, my twin brother. we were going together, and he decided to get out early. He left 10 minutes before I did. So he's 10 minutes older than I am. And then we say, we all look alike. We don't look alike at all. They ask us, and we say, wait 10 minutes. Wait 10 minutes, we'll change. Never do, of course. They say we're 10 minutes older, so we're changed, and we're back again. Exactly. You can't tell us why. And we're totally as unlike twins as can be. We're totally different. And I'm surreptitiously now setting my watch. So you all notice that. And we of course grew up obviously as close as we could possibly be. He's a little bit taller than I am, a little bit larger, but he wears cowboy boots, and obviously the cowboy boots are higher than I am. But nevertheless, he's quite a guy. He is living back in South Dakota now. He had driving trucks nationally for most of his life. He's been quite involved in our farm, and he is now retired on the farm, and he is no longer driving officially, but he occasionally takes special loads, special locations around the country. He traveled the entire United States on his truck. And I wouldn't say that is really the good way to see it, because you are traveling at high speed to get where you're going. And when you get there, you deliver your product, your load, and then next thing you have to do is unload it, and then immediately you're assigned a new location to take the next load, so you're kind of given a different type of chance to see the world. And he had kind of a chance to see many highways, I think, but not many places in the east there. Nevertheless, I'm talking about roommates. My next roommate, officially, was in college. We're obviously the same age, and we're freshmen in School of Mines in South Dakota, Rapid City, South Dakota. As a matter of fact, we have a reunion next week, and I may be here next Thursday. I won't be here because we'll be leaving Wednesday morning for flying to Minneapolis, then flying to Richter City for the convention. Nevertheless, we will have a good time at that convention, and also recognize where I went. My first roommate was in the old dormitory at the School of Mines. This guy was quite a kid. He was a motorcycle rider, and I didn't like motorcycles, but of course we took one ride when we rode one time to a fraternity party up the mountains in Black Hills, and it was a lovely drive, but riding a motorcycle is not necessarily my idea of like we used to travel. And Jim recognized that. I see he's a motorcycle driver. Jim, you drive motorcycle drivers for too? Motorcycle?
Pardon?
You drive motorcycles?
Did you drive a motorcycle, Jim?
Not in 40 years.
But you did at one time, I know. Anyway, but then my first official roommate was when I was in the military. Of course, being in the military and being an officer, you were assigned BOQs, Master Officers' Quarters. And of course, most BOQs are arranged to have, each officer has one large room for his roommate, his bedroom, and his living room, in all the same area. It's like the efficiency place, because you share a bathroom between them. So my first roommate is a officer, a lieutenant, was a big black fellow who was a great football player from Auburn. Nevertheless, he was my partner because he was definitely my official watching over me because he was so large, so huge. I couldn't be ever possibly given a unkind word by anyone. And then after my stay at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, then I went down to Fort Benning, Georgia for airborne training. And some of you have heard me talk about airborne training. Nevertheless, I had roommates that time too. There were 65 of us in one big room, which is a huge long room like this, all filled with individual cots. And you can imagine, if you can't, try to imagine this at least, what it's like to be sleeping among 50 guys, all snoring. And the room just rocks with sound. It reverberates and bounces around. It's just impossible to, I just think, go to sleep. But nevertheless, since you're so tired, each day you're so worn out that you can sleep through anything. So obviously you can get quite a chance to get good sleep. Nevertheless, if you ever woke up, you would never go back to sleep. Obviously, and you hear this roar. And some of these guys were really good snorers, actually, as individuals, paratroopers can be. But nevertheless, then when I got out of the military, when I was in Heidelberg, Germany, my position was I was given a BOQ, also with a shared bathroom with another individual. But this lieutenant and I, we only met one time because he was assigned to another location. We had extra facilities, so I took his room, and I had two in my BOQ. So I had a two-room BOQ, which was a super place to have it in Heidelberg, Germany. Nevertheless, it was a magnificent location. And then I find that now I have my roommate is my wife, and that is a little bit different than I have had several roommates in the past where I have a two-bedroom condominium, and I always had another roommate at the time. He wasn't a roommate, but we had a individual who was a graduate student. He was good because he would spend all day at university and come home only at night. Another time we had a guy who was a tennis player and he was working for the city of Tucson. He drove a Corvette, and we had a great time together. He's actually from South Dakota, of all places. And he came over, and I said, now, you must stay here since you're from South Dakota, you drive the Corvette, and obviously we must get together. We had a great time. I left at the time for Mexico, and I was gone for 3 months, and he stayed in my house, and it was kind of a neat way to do it, because he was totally controlling everything with guilt and speaking of South Dakota, and all of South Dakotans are that trustworthy. So, nevertheless, now I have my current roommate is my wife, and she and I have divided things obviously in various ways. She handles all of the day-to-day activities, like what we have for meal, what we eat for dinner, what we're doing for activities, and I'm in control of the large things. I'm the official UN representative of our home. I have just completed the redecision course, which is taught from the United Nations, which actually gives a chance for you all to interpret and understand all of the various questions and decisions that have been made throughout the world. We have covered things such as the situation in Iraq, and also the oil problems, and the problems with various countries in the world. So we really get to cover a lot of information. I recommend anyone who gets an opportunity to attend that Redecisions course. It's often taught. I took 2 courses. One was taught at the Woods Library. The other one was taught at the Reminisces, which is a condominium on Wombmates and Speedway, and it was lovely out there. I'd been around many times. I don't recognize that light
We said that
flashing.
when it's flashing, it means you're over.
Does it mean anything? It's red now?
It went green, yellow, red, and you're way over time now.
Oh,
You're at 10
I
minutes.
did. I couldn't see red. I don't know. Nevertheless, I didn't. I should have asked about it. Right, but nevertheless, I have. So there you know my situation in my life about my roommates, my roommate and my roommates, which I enjoy every day of it. Thank you.